episode of Underrated and Overlooked Podcast. Hope everybody's having a great week. Lots, very packed show today. We're going to be bringing on Marlee Raymond, West Forsyth. She plays soccer. She's on the U.S. 16U team. Also going to talk to her about basketball. Her team is in the playoffs. And then we'll get into, obviously, some football news, some basketball news, trending rule change. I just saw that the NCAA proposed. You'll be interested in that, Craig. And obviously, we'll break down some NBA and basketball and talk about the All-Star break. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Marlee Raymond on and talk to her.
How's it going, Marley?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So is it winter break for you guys this week?
It's like President's Weekend.
Okay. So you guys had no school yesterday and today?
Yeah, and Friday.
Nice. So how have you guys handled that with practice? Just you guys had the number 3 seed, the busy region tournament, but just having this game on the radar.
We've had practice like all this break, and we're just like getting prepared as a team to play our first round in state.
And so Najee was showing me your soccer highlight. I think you had that nice header. I forgot what day that was. So have you been able to go out on the soccer field, not really miss any games in the midst of your basketball run?
Yes, I've been able to attend like all my high school soccer games, and this weekend we had a showcase for ECNL in Houston, Texas, and basically it was just like a bunch of college scouts, and you played against other teams, basically just to show like the colleges what you have to offer.
And then, how cool is it to be able to play for the U.S. team 16U? How cool was that to be kind of nominated for that and be playing on that team?
It's the 15U team actually,
15U.
and um, it was actually like a great honor to like be able to go there and like train at like the best facilities and have like the best coaching staff. It was really just a great experience, and like I'm so like happy that I got to experience that, and I want to like better myself and keep on like attending those.
And then, when did you start playing sports? And then, how long have you been doing kind of like the dual sport, the basketball and the soccer?
Well, I started playing soccer when I was like 2, and then I started
Wow.
basketball when I was like 3, like really early, because my dad used to play basketball, and like I just like loved soccer, so I've always played it. So from like a really young age, I started being like a dual sport athlete, and like it's just like now that I'm older and like when I was younger, it was harder um to like do both. But now as I'm getting older, it's easier because I'm like more adapt to how to do it.
And then, do you feel like, from a conditioning
I
standpoint,
was
like, do you
about to
feel
ask the
like you're
same thing.
always like in shape, being that you play both sports? Like, you playing soccer, you're running down that large field, and then you playing basketball, running up and down that court. Do you feel like really well conditioned and trained whenever come out on the field or on the court?
Yes, I feel really conditioned. Like I'm also in like my weight training at school, so basically I'm just like always working out. So it's like being conditioned isn't really a problem, especially with soccer because like as you said, it's like a lot of running. So like I'm always conditioned for like a basketball game because I feel like soccer has more like running aspects, but like basketball, like the jumping really helps me like head the ball and like win challenges by having like more strength.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that you're just a freshman. You're involved in all this different soccer, the basketball. You guys are heading into the playoffs. So you're talking about just wanting to get better and better. But what are your goals kind of during your varsity career and what you'd like to do afterwards?
Um, so I just wanna, yes, of course, I wanna play basketball in high school and soccer as well, but I'm planning on playing soccer in college, and I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna do both because, as I said, it's really difficult to play both in college, but, yeah, it can totally be manageable in college, but I think I might just stick with soccer in college.
And then, how do you also balance, obviously, the two sports, but how do you also balance that with your academic career, keeping your grades up and things like that? How do you just balance all that in one?
Um, well, school hasn't really ever been, like, a problem for me because my parents, grew me up, like, being like, "School's the number one, you have to take care of your school, and then your sports will follow." So, I've always prioritized school and, like, how I do in the classroom, And I think that it's just been easy for me to, like, be able to maintain my grades as well, like, as playing on the pitch and on the court.
I just want to say real quick. I mean, West Forsyth, that's the two-time defending 7A girls champion in soccer. So you're at the premier program in the state right now. So what have you just seen early on this season with the Wolverines, and just how the team's kind of coming together just after those two great seasons?
Um, I can see that all the people on the team are really determined because, like, um, at every tryout, no matter your age, you're not promised a team. Like, even if you're a senior, you're not promised you're gonna make the team. And it's, like, really hard and challenging to make the team, and everyone's work ethic is always there in practice, and, like, we're just pushing each other to be the best we can.
And then talk a little bit about that header. You were saying that you're more of a defensive player, but I guess in that situation, it might have been a corner kick. You just saw it coming there, made the play. Just what was that like, being able to contribute and score a goal in a big game?
It was, like it made me, like, feel really good that I was able to contribute to, like, the offensive side of the ball, n along with, like, the defensive side. Like, being a center back, you usually like, I push up and I usually, like, play through the ball to, like, help my team score, but, like, usually center backs don't typically score a lot of goals in a season, and, I was really happy to, like, score the goal, and yeah.
And then being on the, I guess the under 15 team, are there many girls across the state that you've been able to connect with that are playing at different schools right now, or just how has that worked out for you?
From the U15 national team, I met so many people, like, I made so many new connections and friends, and I'm still friends with, like, a bunch of people that I met, even people from the West Coast and, like, Central. I made friends with a lot of people and, like, sometimes we'll go to big showcases and I'll see them and we'll meet up and we'll just, like we'll take pictures, we'll do whatever, we'll hang out, and basically that's what we do.
And how excited are you to compete in the playoffs? You guys are really good in the region tournament. How excited are you for that? And hopefully go on a nice tournament run and make some noise.
I'm so excited. I think our team will do so well, and I think that as long as we play together and we work hard, and we're working, like, super hard in practice so that we'll have a good showing on Wednesday, and I think we'll do really good and get far.
And then for basketball, just enlighten me. What position do you play? And then what's kind of your favorite thing about the sport itself?
I play point guard, and my favorite thing about the sport is that, like, I like to trust I love, like, when me and my teammates have a connection where we just trust each other and we know where we're gonna be, when we're gonna be there, and, like, I like when we have chemistry and we can work together to just make it look, like, perfect.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing playing 7A sports as a freshman varsity. So, what has just the biggest takeaway and experience been for you this season?
Um, my favorite thing is that well, one thing I was really surprised about is how welcoming the team is. It's so welcoming, but being a freshman on, like, a varsity team, like, on my soccer team, I'm the only freshman on varsity, so I really have to work hard and, like, dial down in practice so that I can, like, play and have, like, good minutes on the field.
And let me ask you this: obviously, playing both sports, when you do have a little bit of free time in there, do you still try to keep conditioning, or do you kind of wait until the sport starts back around, and then, and when you do have those free periods, do you like to kind of relax, do things you like to do? Like, what are some of your hobbies as well outside of
Um
sports?
Outside of sports? Well, I always train, of course, like, even in my free time, I love training. I live near, like, this big turf field, and, like, I can drive my golf cart to it, like, it's really close. So I usually go there, like, every day in between my hours, like, right after school and stuff. But I love hanging out with my friends. I like going to the movies, like, I just like doing teenager things, going to, like, football games, like, I love doing stuff like that.
Got you. So I can probably peg you down for the new summer movies that are supposed to come out. Some major ones. There's a Mario movie that's supposed to come out. I think it's a Ant-Man movie that's supposed to come
Okay,
out.
I think that's out now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good blockbuster. Oh, Fast, I think X is supposed to come out too. It's a lot of good movies supposed to come out this summer. I'm guessing I could peg you for going to go watch one of those.
Yeah, probably.
It's crazy. So, I mean, another question, just, I mean, how do you stay fueled throughout the day, throughout the week? I mean, the school lunch, is that good enough for you on kind of a stricter nutrition regimen?
Yeah, the national team taught me that like your plates matter more. Like as you grow up, you have to focus on what you're eating, how you treat your body, like your recovery process after games and practices. So I do choose to eat healthy. Like my parents usually cook. We don't really go out that much. Like of course we go out sometimes, but we like to cook in and like we like eat healthier.
And do you have a lot of family in the Georgia area that's been able to come out and see you this year?
Yeah, I do have a good amount of family. Most of my family lives in Florida and some lives in New York, but like on my mom's side, a lot lives in Georgia. So they love coming to my games and watching me as well.
That's awesome. Hopefully they can stream some of it too. But just getting ready for the game tomorrow. I mean, how excited are you? Big playoff atmosphere. Just what you guys have gone through this season, just to be in this pivotal stage of the playoffs.
Um, I think that well, I'm super excited. I'm so pumped and I'm really excited to see what we'll do, but I know that we'll play really good together and I think it'll be a really interesting game, but I think we'll come out with the win.
And then for you, let's say there's another freshman next year in your same kind of spot. She's coming on, she's new to the team. What would you kind of just tell her to, bring her in, make her feel comfortable? As far as if there's another freshman next year that was in your spot playing varsity at the big level and facing, what you're about to face tomorrow, just going into a big game, as far as, the first time.
I would tell them that, like, they just need to be like, push themselves out their comfort zone, like, don't stay to yourself, try to, like, adapt with the team and your teammates because it's really important to have a connection with your teammates, and if you don't, you guys can't play together.
Right. And then for you, are you kind of more of a natural, born leader, or you kind of just kind of, like you just said, adapt kind of to what the team is and then kind of go there?
Well, I am the captain on my soccer team, like, for ECNL, and, like, basically, like, I feel like ever since I was little, I've always been, like, a leader, like, I've always been in that leader role. Um, so basically yeah, like, I've always just been a leader to, like, myself and my teammates, and I, like, just, like, help lead everyone to be the best they can.
Now, you more vocal or you kind of non-vocal? Like, got some leaders that are vocal, like to kind of, rally up the team, get them going. Or you more kind of like lead through kind of how you play?
I think I'm both because, I can vocalize when, like, say our team is off focus, I can help them, like, regain that focus and so we can work hard, but I also push my teammates, like, on the field by working as hard as I am every practice and every game, and that makes them wanna work harder as well.
And as a center back in soccer, I mean, what's the most important thing? Is it communication with your teammates? Is it just that breakaway speed to beat the angles, get to the ball quicker? I mean, what is it about a good center back?
I think it's how relaxed you are on the ball. You can't be frantic, and you also have to be able to communicate with your back line along with like everyone in front of you. Cause like you are like the deepest player back besides the goalkeeper. So you have to like organize the whole field and say your team is stepping up. You have to tell everyone to step and get up so they don't leave like the offsides like line on. You know what I mean?
And then, as far as playing soccer, is there anybody that you kind of look up to, or just people that play the sport collegiately, or even on the national women's team that that you kind of like to watch, favorite players, anything like that?
Well, ever since I've been little, me and my dad have loved watching the Pele, like, movie, and we've always, like, studied his game because he came from, like, nothing, like, at all, and he was still able to get to the top of his game, and he worked hard no matter all his challenges, so I just look up to that.
Yeah, did you get to watch any of the World Cup this year?
Yeah, I did.
What was your overall takeaway? I mean, everyone that tuned in, I mean, they said it was one of the best ever.
For sure.
It was one of the most competitive I've ever seen. Like, usually there's, like, a team that you know is like, "Oh, that team's gonna win." But, like, this one, like, you obviously thought, like, "Oh, this person was gonna win," but there would be, like, smaller countries that would just come out and knock them out. So it was really, like, entertaining to see that, like, all these countries were able to play.
And
Yeah.
then what's the preparation like for football versus soccer? Obviously, some sports you watch a ton of film, but just preparing for an opponent like in soccer, you guys got a big region game against Milton coming up. This playoff game in basketball. I mean, how do you guys kind of prepare for the specific opponent in each sport?
Well, for basketball, well, for both of them actually, we love to watch film and look at what the other team's doing and focus on what we're gonna do against that. So, like, for, like, basketball, we can watch their plays so we can help figure out, like, a defense to stop that. And, for soccer, we love to, like, watch how people do, like, set pieces and, like, corner kicks and how they set the ball up and how fast they're playing. Because you have to play you have to be able to relax the game so that you can stretch the field and, like, control the game as a team.
Now, for soccer and basketball, it's kind of enlighten us. Is it big on the high school level, far as analytically? Like, do you look at a player's potentially? Let's say you're center back, right, for soccer. Okay, well, I know this striker. She likes to play on this side and on this wing, and she likes to hit it with her right foot or get into this certain spot of the field before she kicks the ball. Like, is that a big part of it? I know football is kind of coming more around to it. Like this year, we see Mill Creek and 7A. They were use analytics, but is that big in soccer and basketball on the high school level?
Yeah, it is, like, especially for basketball, if you know a player always goes to their left, you're gonna, of course, wanna force them right and be able to trap there so that they can turn the ball over. But in soccer, like, usually a player's able to go left and right, but if they're most likely to go left, then you know to, like, push them right. And usually, in soccer films, you can see people's tendencies, like, it's, like, difficult, like, they'll make, like, a run usually like every single game, and it's the same run that like breaks down a defense. So if you watch that film, you're able to see like, oh, that's how you stop that run, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, and then in basketball, it's like your coach is right on the sideline. They can get in your ear, but in soccer, like if you're lining up for a corner kick or they have a penalty kick, how do you guys get that message from your coach if they kind of line up in a certain way or move things around? Is it different just being that far away?
Well, we have like me, our goalkeeper, and our midfielder are all captains on our team. So we're like in charge of organizing the defense on set pieces like corner kicks and free kicks. So we tell everyone where they're supposed to be, how to mark the goal, so we can prevent like a goal from happening.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. So, what's your overall take though of kind of some of these region opponents? When we talk to these Forsyth County coaches in big rivalry games against South Forsyth, Milton, what's your just take on some of these region matchups you've gotten to be in this year?
They're really high intense games, so I love it. Like it's like when we play out of state like region games, they're not as like I don't know. They're like not as much emotion in them. Like these games, they're like the crowds are all cheering, like it's hype in the gym, so everyone's feeling it, everyone's getting a rush of energy. Like it's always high intense in those games.
And then if you had to say, Marlo, what's been like kind of the most hyped up environment you've been in, as far as just on the soccer level, just like, wow, this environment's electric. It's one of the favorite places I've been, whether it's on the road or if it's a home game for one of your teams. What's been like the best atmosphere you've played in?
Um, One of my soccer games that was, like, the hypest, I think, was, in Dallas Cup, like, it was, like, a year ago when like, 2 years ago when I played for, Top Hat. It was like we were down 1-0, and this was a championship game, and it was so hype, and so many people were screaming, and, like, all the parents and, like, teams around us watching the game were, like, cheering because we were down 1-0, and there was, like, 13 seconds left in the game, and we had a corner kick, and, one of my teammates hit the corner in, and I headed it in, and we scored, and then, like, the ref blew the whistle, and then we went into PKs, and so it was really hype and all the pressure was on, but we were able to take the win.
Wow, that's pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Wow.
As a center back, you were talking about how you have a lot of communication with the goalie. So, I mean, how's that been this year so far? Just that relationship and how you guys been able to work together?
In high school, we're able to, like, communicate because the other center back doesn't really like, she communicates, but she's more of, like, she leads with, like, how she plays, like, she's not very vocal, which is totally fine, but like we communicate through like our body language mostly in high school. Like she'll know like if I'm opening up to receive the ball, like side on, she'll play like my left foot. But if I'm like straight up, she'll like either go long or play through. And in like ECNL and club soccer, usually we communicate and like we've been playing so long together that we don't even have to communicate, they just know.
And then is there any enlighten me as well? Is there any communication? I know it's mainly with the goals, but is there any communication with like your midfielders or anything like that?
Yeah, there's so much communication with the midfield because, like, if we play a ball and they're facing negative and they have someone on their back, we have to be able to tell them, like, hey, it's not on, play back, and we'll like switch the field, we'll pivot, and we'll find a ball through.
And then I see this more on the professional level, far as either World Cup wise or as far as the major leagues, La Ligas, Premier League. Sometimes you'll see the center back; they'll go and they might do a lob pass to a midfielder or to a potential striker or a right winger or left winger. Is that seen a lot prevalently in soccer on the high school level, or not so much?
Yes, like being able to play balls through is like a key component of being a center back. Like you have to be able to see like not only close up to you, but you have to see those longer balls and those longer passes to be able to like break people's lines so that you guys can go forward and score.
That's awesome. Gosh, it's just so
Exciting.
exciting to be playing both teams. I mentioned just 7A.
Yeah.
West Forsyth, a great program. In terms of basketball, though, I mean, it seems like soccer, that's your big love, but what do you want to accomplish just in basketball? It's obviously something you're trying to take advantage as a high schooler playing in Georgia. It's outstanding, but just in terms of your skill set, what you want to prove as a point guard and what you're going to be working on?
Well, I am working on my court vision. Like, one thing I'm really good at is like playing, seeing one of my teammates before they're there, like being able to create plays that aren't like necessarily plays. But I'm working on like being able to like just play together and like trust my teammates more because that's like very big for like West. Like you have to be able to play together and like high school's so different than like travel basketball because you only have a short period of time to be able to learn and play with your teammates.
And how important is your conditioning going to be for your high school career? I mean, being in the fourth quarter, second half of these games, that's going to be a big advantage to you if you aren't as winded and you can really kind of push the pedal to the metal down the stretch.
Yeah, I take real like a lot of advantage to like my conditioning. Like I put a lot of my like effort, like as much as I'm doing on like the technical side of like basketball, I'm also working on conditioning because like you said, if you're not conditioned at the end of the game, what like how good are you as a player? Because if you're not able to last the whole game, then like there's something you have to fix.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're trying to be that defensive force. I mean,
Sure.
being the more conditioned athlete, that's just so huge. So, gosh, well, good luck tomorrow night. That's going to be really exciting to watch. We're going to be tracking all the games, but specifically that one. And I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, appreciate you coming on the show, Marley. Hopefully we'll probably try to get you on again probably next season. Just kind of chronicle, how your freshman year went and things like that. And we just say appreciate you joining the show. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, cool. So guys, it's Marlee Raymond. A lot of fun talking to her, learning more about her career. I mean, that's incredible to balance two sports like that, be in shape consistently. That's incredible. So excited for her and what she has going, and I'm sure we'll have her again on the show. Shout out, obviously,
Jordan for
Jordan.
booking the guest. He was on site at the region championships, did an interview with Marlee, and then invited her on. It worked out because they have this week off. But I mean, just think about the week she has. Going to play Cherokee tomorrow night, big region game. Big playoff game, and then the soccer opens up region play on Friday against Milton. So it's going to be just an exciting week for her. You love to see in terms of freshmen making a big impact in the year. I mean, you got Julian Lewis obviously doing it. on the gridiron. Marlee doing it in two sports. There's a lot of young, mature athletes that have been balling for a long time, and she said it since age 2.
Yeah, that's crazy. Age 2 soccer, age 3 was basketball. So I mean, she's kind of had it in her system ever
Yeah,
since
she's
she
a
was
veteran freshman.
Yeah, for sure. So congrats to her and good luck. But man, we got so much to discuss today. Let's go ahead and get into it. Thanks for the 4 people that are tuning in. Y'all comment below. We appreciate y'all tuning into the stream. Let's go ahead and get to some offers. Obviously, one is got Ashton Woods. He gets a Miami offer. He's blowing up. I mean, he's gotten major offers all year long, ever since his football season was over. What do you think about that offer from him, Craig? Or offer for him?
I think it's fitting. I really like Ashton Woods. He's been playing. I mean, Walton's defense, they haven't really been stand out, but he has been the best player on the field for the last 3 years. He stepped in there as a freshman during that run that Walton had, was playing in the playoffs against Colquitt County, holding his own, did it again, had a great sophomore season. And then last year, probably one of the hardest hitting players on any team, maybe Eli Barrow of Cedartown, but Ashton Woods is an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm.
He really he was always big, but I feel like after that freshman season, he added a ton of weight. He's got a big frame, and he's a true force. One of the best players on the team. He has a knack for turnovers, just big plays. He's had multiple interceptions too, so he's got great awareness. He's a really intelligent player. He's a leader. I think it's a great sign. Miami's a big offer as well. They're going to keep coming, but he is going to be the heart and soul of that defense next year for Walton.
And then what do you think? We both knew this news. We couldn't break it, but we knew it.
Yep.
Daniel Calhoun's officially with Walton. They add another force into that offensive line. So what do you think of that move? And obviously, me and you were talking last night, and we said, what I've been seeing, like I think that matchup from the Corky Kell, that night game between Walton and Grayson is going to be big time. What do you just think of that move of him going there?
It's absolutely game-changing. Walton last year had a great offensive line. We talked a little bit about the run game. It was Makari Botaforth led. He did a great job for him. But now that they have literally the best offensive tackle in the country, in the state, with Daniel Calhoun, 6'8", 340 pounds, that's going to completely take care of that side of the offensive line. That guy is huge. It's not like he's a transfer that's coming in, has these numbers. He's been kicking what for the last couple seasons. Every single coach we talked to last year that played Centennial said they've got this guy. I've never seen anything like it. This guy's a full-grown NFL player at the high school level. He's on Walton's offense now. That's going to make them so dangerous on second downs, third and shorts, the goal line. Right. I mean, it's a great fit for him to come to a Walton program with great offensive line play around him, with a great quarterback, with great skill players. So I think it's huge. And then especially going up against a Grayson team that eats defensively, they got that young talent with Atkinson. Is it Tyler Atkinson?
He just won an award too in the Met Gala too at the
one of the best young linebackers in the entire country. So it'll be one of the best matchups. But that has been why we've been hyping it up. We thought this move was going to happen. It's official now, so we can talk about it. But it just makes that matchup just unbelievable. I think you're looking at a Walton win over Grayson out the gates. I think that's going to be a big message sent, and Grayson's obviously going to have a new head coach too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see from a play calling perspective how innovative they're going to be just offensively, because like I said, they already have a 1-2 punch from Botifer, who's racked up more offers this past offseason as well. But then you combine that with Helinski, the great skill players you just mentioned, the running back, the offensive line. I mean, it's going to be difficult game planning against that, because if you try to tip off one side, if you try to go against passing attack, they can run you. If you low 8-9 in the box, they can hit you over top. So it's like that's going to be difficult to prepare for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Centennial had a good year last year. Daniel Calhoun was probably one of the biggest reasons for it. But yeah, just putting him into this offense for Walton that was so good last year, it's just, I think it makes them really dangerous. It gives them that edge in those key third down possessions. And what did Walton also do great last year? They controlled the ball. They had great long sustaining drives. If they know that he's just putting in that work and winning his matchups, That's just going to give him a huge advantage and confidence boost to be able to close out the 4-minute offense, hold possession at the end of the half, bleed out the clock. So I think they're really going to be a next level with him, a huge addition.
I agree, definitely. And keeping it going, Elijah McDowell from South Gwinnett, he got offered from Miami of Ohio. Actually, two players. AJ Pickford got another offer as well
Nice.
from. So I guess
Najee touch.
yeah. So I guess they have a lot of I guess Miami, Ohio is kind of targeting, South Gwinnett players. I mean, two players from there offered major time. Just what do you think of that? Both of them landing D1 offers.
I think it's huge. Elijah McDowell is a really impressive player. 6'3", played receiver, made a ton of plays for him last year, a ton of touchdowns. Not just simple go routes. I mean, he's catching it back of the end zone, mossing guys. He's 6'3", and then you watch him defensively. He's so physical. It's like he's great with his hands. Like he can play press coverage. He's fast enough to track you on these slant routes and stuff. But as soon as he sees the running back, he's downfield and he can really hit. So I think he's a versatile player. He'll obviously play defense at the next level, but I think he's just another South Gwinnett player that had great film. And he's also been fantastic just in any camps or one-on-one drills. You just see the natural skill set right there. So I think he'll be good to go. And South Gwinnett will be an interesting team next year in that stacked region that we didn't even mention. Archer, South Gwinnett, Newton, Parkview, Grayson. I mean, that is 6 teams to watch out for.
Definitely. I mean, great point by you. It'll be interesting to see how it all kind of culminates and comes together next year for football. So hope you guys like the news. That's what we got for as our high school football segment. We're going to keep it going. We're going to move to basketball for high school. Lots going on. I looked for matchups. I mean, obviously round 1 is kind of more tough to see kind of those primetime matchups. I think for me, the best one I saw was Wheeler and Milton. Milton had a pretty good season, 19-9. Wheeler looks like the team to beat. And 7-8 don't look like there's many teams that can contend with them this year. So they really impressed me when I seen them on national TV when they played Newton. I think they got an interior force with Aaron Page, who's going to SC. Then you got obviously Isaiah Collier, I think is the best player in the state. And they got another good wing player that complements him well. So I think Wheeler versus Milton will be a great matchup. What do you think?
I think it will. It's typically a matchup you'd see late in the playoffs. Milton slid down to the number 4 seed. I don't care who Wheeler's playing. They're a team to watch. I mean, they're outstanding. I really like that one, though. Wheeler handled business, dominated the region tournament. The other one, though, Pebblebrook and Lowndes is going to be interesting. Pebblebrook's a dangerous number 4 seed. They've had big wins over, I believe, Newton this year. They beat McEachern, but then they fall to the 4 seed. So going all the way down to Lowndes, that's a big game for them. They're a team that's beaten the best, but also has had some rough losses. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Then the other one, let's see, I had it. Yeah, South Gwinnett and McEachern. McEachern's the number 1 seed. South Gwinnett knocked a really good Archer team out of the playoffs coming out of that region that is stacked not only in football, but definitely basketball this year. It was probably the best region in the state with Grayson, Newton, South Gwinnett. Parkview is really good too. So I think that South Gwinnett McEachern one could be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, great picks by you as far as games to watch for. So you guys, it tips off tonight. Me and Craig will be very, very busy after the show. We'll be getting prepped for that. We got our rankings that's coming out tomorrow. I think, Craig, you got baseball, right?
Yep.
I got lacrosse, so that'll come out today. And then, we'll be filled up with a lot of basketball and getting recaps done. So go to scoreatl.com and get all those news and everything that's going on as far as the basketball world, as far as the playoffs. So I did a section, state title picks and predictions, who we got coming out. After finding out the news from Craig, who I'm going to let him actually break this from McDonough, I might have to change my 4A pick. But I'm going to let Craig break that real quick before we get into our picks as far as the classifications go.
Yeah, what did you say his first name was?
Davion.
Yeah, Davion. He was the region player of the year. Just got word because they have been struggling. They got the 3 seed, but he apparently broke his foot. He's out. They had another player that I think started the season in a cast and has come back. So McDonough is banged up. They are still rocking the number 1 seed right now. They've split with Pace Academy during the regular season.
Oh, actually a 3 seed.
Yeah, they're a 3 seed.
Yeah, the 3 seed. Yeah.
And then they lost to Lovett in the semifinals of their region. So it's going to be tough. They were a team that up until probably a week and a half ago hadn't lost to a single game, probably 2 weeks ago, hadn't lost a single game within Class 4A. They lost the first one to Pace. I think that's when these injuries started creeping up. So can they play inspired? That could be another thing. It's like sometimes you lose one of your best players, everyone steps up, it takes a game or two, but then you find that magic again. So we'll see. They play Holy Innocents, who uh, they've actually been playing really well at the right time. They're number 2 seed. I think that will be a good test for them coming out of the gates, but still a ton of talent, ton of senior leadership on that team. So we'll see who steps up for them. Um, Pace Academy, you saw them play.
Yep.
They can shoot really well.
Yep.
Their experience, that's a team that is looking really strong in 4A. And then, I mean, what Lovett did out of that region, I think if you look at the 4A rankings right now, those 3 teams from Region 5 could be the 1, 2, 3. They've just been outstanding. And then saw some other upsets. Westover had a big win over Bainbridge to get the number 1 seed. They're a team that's made runs before to state, so we'll see what the Patriots can do too. But I think 4A does open up a little bit.
Yes, it's actually intriguing. They still have, as Craig mentioned, a lot of senior leadership. Keenan Gray, they still have Ahmad McDowell, Vontae Nichols. So they're probably going to have to take a forefront or the main brand of, the work with Thomas being out. But, there's definitely a team that's been together for a while and a lot of seniors on that team. So obviously be a lot of pride that kicks in. But yeah, we didn't mention them, but Lovett, I think, correct me if I got his name wrong. Christian Anderson, the one that went off for like 43 points in back-to-back games, and went off for 32, I believe, in the region championship game. He's had a great run as far as tournament goes, and he's a Michigan commit, and man, he's really exciting to watch. So Love it's a team to watch down, and what's cool too about how it's kind of set up with those teams. They're all kind of in separate brackets. So if McDonough was to go, they wouldn't face a potential Pace Academy team until semifinals. And then if Pace Academy or McDonough goes out of that kind of tournament of that bracket, they wouldn't face Lovett into a state title game. So that's the cool part about that is both of those teams probably won't face each other until deep in the playoffs to be able to make, any sort of kind of run. So it's obviously something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I want Craig to break that news on Thomas. Major news. We'll see how McDonough bounces back. But I'm going to get into boys and then throw it to Craig. My 7A who's coming out, I got Wheeler. Do not sleep on Grayson there or Norcross or McEachern. I think they can make some noise as well. Newton, too, very guard oriented. I think the big thing for Newton will be, can their big step up? Can they take some pressure off of those guards? Very elite guards that they have. Can they take that pressure off? And then 6A, I got Grovetown. 5A, I got Kale. They got just a 7-foot monster, Peyton Marshall. Hard to guards. It's coming to the top recruits in 2024 class. Somebody to keep an eye on. 4A, I think I'm going to stay on McDonough for now. I think they're going to right the ship, get it together, but don't sleep on obviously Lovett and Pace Academy. They have some really good guards on both of those teams. 3A, I'm going to go Sandy Creek. 2A, I'm going Columbia. 1A, Division 1, I'm going to go Mount Vernon. And 1A, Division 2, I'm going to go Christian Heritage.
Well, gosh, let me see if I can do it just as good. I like Wheeler over Newton in 7A. I think they're going to match up again. It seems destined to happen after that incredible televised showdown recently. 6A, I like Grovetown a lot. They were the team that beat Wheeler last year. They returned everyone. There was all this hype around them. They were ranked nationally, like top 15, top 20. They struggled early. People thought they might not have it, but they have the number 1 seed right now. They're playing really well. So I like them in 6A. Probably I'm trying to think who they might match up with on that other side of the bracket. Probably Alexander. And they have, I think they met in the Sweet 16 last year. Grovetown just absolutely dominated, but those are the top 2 teams right now. In 5A, I like Kell. I think the Kell boys and girls are going to sweep this year. It just seems to be one of those seasons they are just absolutely balling. They've got tremendous size, experience everywhere, athletic shooters, and just really have been playing well all season long. Big wins over 7A teams. They've played everyone. In 4A, gosh, I like Pace Academy. Sharman White is a true state championship coach. They're new to 4A. It's kind of a new field of opponents to go through. He just has that track record. They made a run last year as an even younger team. I just like Coach White and Pace Academy. Some of their shooters outside. God, what's his name? Is it Chatfield?
Eric Chatfield,
Yeah,
I think. Yep.
He's one of the better shooters.
Young too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So I like Pace Academy, new to 4A. In 3A, let's see. I'm going to go with Sandy Creek in 3A. I think they're ranked number 2 right now behind Johnson, Savannah. They're so athletic. They play above the rim. They've been knocking at the door for a long time. We saw them get it done in football this year, so that'd be exciting. In 2A, let's see. Gosh. I'm going to go with I'm going to pick Columbia for now just because I have them number 1. But I would not be surprised if you see a 3 seed like North Cobb Christian, Butler come out and get to the state championship game. 3A is always wild. In Class A Division 1, I'm going to go with Mount Vernon. They proved themselves. Once they got that number 1 ranking, they had to play a lot of those teams that were number 3, number 4. They held court. They got the wins, secured that. And then got to go with Green Forest Christian in Class A Division 2, the tallest team in the state, tons of 7-footers, and just an absolute powerhouse.
Yep. And then for me, girls, I'm going to go 7A. I'm going to go Brookwood, Diana Collins, Ohio State commit. I think they just a collision course with the championship. It's going to be tough. I mean, obviously, you got some good teams in 7A. You got Buford, Norcross, teams to watch out for. But I think Brookwood, this is their title to lose. That's why I got 7A. 6A, I'm going to go Rockdale. I just think, they're playing some good basketball. They got a really good bunch, a really good team. And I think they're going to be dangerous. 5A, yeah, I feel you. I'm going sweep as well with Kale, boys and girls. I just think they have a lot of talent in their roster. Jemiah Gregory, as far as playing the forward spot along with Crystal Henderson, who, is a phenomenal talent. I think they're going to be a tough out, tough to beat. That is their also conference to lose. 4A, I'm going to surprise you, Craig. I'm going to Luella. Talked to the coach earlier this year. I think they have a great group of girls. Wasn't able to see them in person, but I've seen some highlights and some things they do well. And, I think they have a group that can be dangerous. 3A girls, I'm going to go Hebron Christian. 2A, I'm going to go Central Macon. 1A, St. Francis. And then 1A Division 2, Taylor County.
Okay, 7A. I'll go with Brookwood too. They really play tough teams. I mean, beating Archer multiple times like they have.
They play Kell, I think, too.
Really athletic. Brookwood is proven to be number 1 right now. 6A, who did I have? Rockdale County. I think the fact they earned that number 1 seed out of that region shows that they are the real deal. Kell in 5A. 4A, I like Holy Innocents. I think they're the hottest team in 4A right now. Do think that they're destined to square off with Luella. In 3A, I like Wesleyan. They ended up edging out Lumpkin County, one of the best shooting teams in the state. That I think they made a run to the finals last year. So Wesleyan, I like them in 3A. They've won tons of state titles before. One of the better programs. In 2A, I like Mount Perrin, Class A Division 1. Let's see. I'm going to go with Oglethorpe County.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot the stat we had on that. I mean, they shoot the 3 better than anyone. And then in Class A Division 2, I'm going to go with Taylor County.
All right. So there you got it, guys. You can bookmark this. This is what we got as far as our basketball predictions for as far as the state tournament. So tune in, and you may even see me and Craig go to the state championship game, maybe potentially. But we'll keep it going there, leave it there as far as our high school segment. We're gonna go ahead and jump into some college. I guess we're gonna start with college football. I got some news running by Craig first. So obviously it's a proposed rule change. So this is the 2 things. So clock runs after first down except inside 2 minutes. This is college football again, guys. And then number 2 was the proposed rule was clock runs on incompletions after the ball is spotted. What do you think about those? They want to speed up the game, essentially.
Yeah, I don't mind that after it's spotted.
Yeah. Yeah. So if it's incomplete, after the ball spotted, the clock will run, and then it runs after. So like first down, they'll stop it, and then it'll go. Like it'll keep running how it is in the NFL.
And we'll be just synced up with the play clock too. So,
yeah,
I think that would be good to speed it up.
Yep, that's the proposed rule change. I think it'll be interesting to see, if it gets passed. But that is in proposal right now, and it's something they want to look at deeper.
So, like that under 2 minutes, or is a two-folded rule. So once it's under 2 minutes, the clock just runs.
Yeah, that's always been a thing.
Yeah,
that always been a thing. Unless you stop it with the timeout. But yeah, before that, the clock, after the first down, it would stop until they set it, and then you call a play.
Got it.
Yep. It'd be interesting to see. But all right, that's what we got as far as football news really quick. We can move to basketball. I brought up this topic. Will North Carolina make the the national tournament? March Madness. I think it'll be interesting. Right now, they're struggling. They are 16-11. They're 8-8 right now. There's 4 games left before the conference tournament. They got some tough matchups. They got to play Miami. They have to play Virginia, who's number 6 in the country. And they just lost recently to NC State. I seen that game. They played them, I think it was Sunday. So they're reeling right now. But this is a team that was in the national title. Last year they brought back pretty much all the talent. RJ Davis. They brought back Caleb Love. They brought back Armando Baycock. So it's kind of interesting to see them kind of struggling right now in the ACC. So I think they got to win out. I think they got to, do some damage. They might even have to win their conference tournament, but they are on, according to Joy Lenardi, kind of one of those bubble teams.
They're definitely on the bubble. The one thing they have going for them is they are UNC, so they have, say, a little extra weight to their name. But I think what has probably been the biggest weakness for them this year is like teams will go on runs, but it's like if one guy gets hot, you not only have to adjust to stop him, you need another guy on your team to get hot also to counter that. They haven't had that. So a guy will just go off for a career high or have a big second half or something. Who's that scorer on your team that's going head to head with the other star? It's like you need that same type of player. Perfect example, that Wheeler Newton game. It's like once one guy's going off, you need someone else to counter it. It's not always team basketball. It's like, yeah, it takes the team to stop them defensively, but you also need that offensive guy to step up.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great point.
It's the only way to prevent those runs from happening.
Yeah, I agree, Kirk. That's a great point. So we'll see if they're able to get it together, but they got 4 very important matchups coming up. We'll see how the record's looking.
A big one. Virginia,
Miami is pretty good. They're going to make the tournament.
Duke at the end.
Yeah, and Duke, I think, actually the coach in his first year has the most wins as far as Duke in their first year as the head coach of the team. In Duke history. So,
probably
they're not a slouch
4 or
either.
5 more games, but some tough ones.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, 6 of 7 losses?
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, they've been struggling. But keeping it going, one more segment we want to talk about. I thought Kansas has also been very impressive. They've been picking up a lot of major victories. They won 7 of the last 8. They beat Baylor last weekend. They just beat TCU last night, 63-58. And then what's interesting about Kansas is their best player is not even playing his best. Jalen Wilson, he only had 7 points last night. Kevin McCullough had 15. Greg Dick's been going off the freshman with 19 and 6 boards. So I think that's what's been really interesting about them. They've been getting big road victories, and their best player hasn't been performing at his best. So that's almost like a welcome insight because eventually he's going to turn it around. He's going to get it together. But when you go into the tournaments, like you said, you're going to have one player get hot. You're going to need other players to be able to step up, hit those big-time shots because it becomes almost magnified in that situation. So it'd be interesting to see, can Grady Dick, a really good shooter, can then continue to, elevate him in games and, let's say Wilson struggling again or, another player struggling. Can those guys kind of step up and kind of carry the load?
Yeah, he had 2 points against Texas. They still find a way to win.
Yep.
They've been on this streak, and that game it was like, oh, he's in foul trouble, or he's the best player. He's been scoring 21 points a game. The other team's really scheming in on him. But as you said, other guys, despite that, have been stepping up. So now teams are going to have to adjust to that, and then you got to figure he's going to go off again. So 100% right. It's a great sign for Kansas. They just went to the top of the standings in the conference. They're playing well. There's conversation about them potentially going to number 1. So they've really had a big stretch, and I think it's come
the best
despite their best player not necessarily having the scoring impact that you'd expect.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they're number one right now in their conference, and then Texas trails them too. But I think they're 10-4. I think Kansas 11-4. They're going to play each other again March 4th, top 10 matchup, number 3 versus number 8. That's going to be a big game because that's going to basically be for the conference regular season title.
And where is that game? Because Kansas is obviously so good at home.
It might be a home game. I'm not.
I think you're right.
100%, but I believe Kansas already played in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But let's check that out really quick, y'all. Let's see. Texas.
Oh, Texas one might have been.
Let's see. Yeah, they have some big ones too. Like that's not going to be an easy game. Baylor, they played tonight against Iowa State. Yeah, so Baylor's really good. They got the best backcourt. Yeah. Oh, is this going to be a home game?
Is that the Moody Center?
I don't think that's not Kansas, right?
No.
So it's in Texas. So they must. So when they played earlier, that must have been.
Yeah, that one was at Kansas.
That was at Kansas, right? Because it says Allen Fieldhouse. Yeah, so this was in Texas. So that's a major matchup
for sure. Top 10 matchup, season finale, big time
for sure. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap a little early today. We got 2 more topics we're gonna talk about. Usually we go to hour and a half, but we're gonna wrap probably about around an hour. Again, a lot of work we got to both get into today, so gonna wrap it early. But Matt McClung, he scored a 50 on 3 or 4 of his dunks. I thought he really saved the dunk contest. To me, it has not been the same. Last year it was really weak, but to me, it has not been the same since Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine when they did back-to-back years. I thought both of those were just incredible. 2013, it hasn't been the same since. Some people are blaming LeBron for it because, he's the star of all stars. A lot of people follow his lead, and he never partaked in one. And it does kind of suck because, we don't see the stars do it anymore. Like, Michael Jordan did it. Dominique Wilkins did it. Kobe did it. Dwight Howard did it. Nate Robinson did it. Just, some people that were really known in the NBA at one point. But now we can't even get the young stars to do it. But we see the best in-game dunks from Anthony Edwards and John Morant. But we can't see that at the All-Star break. So I think that to me is the most disappointing part of it is that we don't see them go and compete, for it. But yeah, what do you think about that? And then him winning.
I think it's true. I mean, Josh Smith, he had some good dunk contests in that span. It seems like some years have been really bad where it's just oh man, the dunk contest is so over. But then I just got to say, I mean, that was something I've never seen before. From the first dunk, tapping off the backboard over 2 guys. I mean, that was like a circus Space Jam level, just barrage of perfect dunks. I mean, he didn't miss. That's another thing that made it so special. It's to really capture the excitement of the arena, you have to get it on the first time. And credit to him, he did. It wasn't a lob to yourself. Oh, that was a bad one. Let me try it again. It was just, he's got the ball. He's going to do something special. And then boom. I mean, he couldn't have had a better night. It was completely memorable. He goes up as one of the best dunk contest performers we've seen just in terms of the scores, the new flavors and twists he brought to some of those dunks. It was just unbelievable. He definitely raised the bar. It was low going into it just from, as you said, the stars not really participating in it, but
it's tough.
I mean, good luck for anyone topping what he did this year. I mean, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, and then guys, the crazy thing is he plays in the G League. He just made in one night a career worth of earnings. He earned at that point $106,000. He just earned $100,000 just for doing that. So shout out to him and for trying his best to really save the dunk contest.
Yeah, well, and I know it meant a lot to his high school too. He went to Gate City. He wore the Gate City jersey. Had a great career there. Let him do their first ever state title. Dropped 47 in the state championship game. The dude's a hero there. Had a college career too, and for him to do that, I know his community was really hyped up to that. I mean, that was impressive what he just did, putting himself in the likes of Vince Carter, Dwight Howard, Nate Robinson, all these other guys that won the dunk contest.
Yep.
Even if that prestige had gone down a little bit, I think the way he did it, I mean, definitely one of the more memorable highlight reels.
And I think what's another interesting point, which leads me to the next point, obviously about the All-Star game and how bad it is. And the NFL really just dealt with this too. And they decided to kind of scrap the game. Instead, they just did kind of flag football and things like that. Mike Malone called it one of the worst basketball games he's ever coached. Jaylen Brown said that's not basketball. So do you think there's any way to fix it? What would your kind of like proposal be? I think the bad part is like some of the players, like there is a little bit of arrogance. Like some are like, well, I think there needs to be more of an incentive. I felt 2020, the year, obviously rest in peace to him, one of the legends, Kobe. I thought that was one of the better years when there was competitive basketball to me. It was no, um, there was no game clock. It was just you get to this target score. I felt like that was better than this year, but it just seems like the players aren't incentivized to play. And just what do you think of the whole thing?
Yeah, well, that's a great point. I did not hate that rule where it was about getting to a certain point total
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a race to it. That was exciting. That was a good new feature. I think when you look at All Star Weekend, they used to do it'd be the freshman versus sophomore game, and that was the one you'd expect to just be ugly. It's like there's more just tricks. People are not really playing defense. It's like 200 to 200, and then the All Star game, the way it used to be, it's like a West center gets voted in, an East center gets voted in, and you kind of expect those two to be squaring off. An East forward gets voted in, and it was more like a against position. Well,
It's position in
I
basketball,
think
though.
the conferences have gotten lopsided in certain years, and
That's a
they
good
knew
point.
that they couldn't do that format anymore. They would just wipe them clean. It's
It's a good point.
when the West and the East wasn't. It's like even on paper, people wouldn't have thought it'd be a competitive game.
Right.
And so then they go to the situation where you draft the teams. That can be exciting too. But I just think when it was the best was when it was the East versus West, and you just went out there. There was always one superstar on each side, and you just went at it. So, I mean, I don't think it's over. I think the All Star game could easily be fixed with just a competitive game, but we'll see.
I don't know. I feel like NBA too. I feel like it's not there yet, but I feel like they're at a point. They're starting to get kind of a. It's obviously still exciting, but I feel like they're getting a deteriorating product now. I think some players are just playing to play. It's all about the money now, and I think Stephen A. brought up a great point. Like players are already thinking about their next contract before they even fulfill their first contract, which is kind of crazy. And like I said, I think they're just some are out of touch with kind of like the reality. Like I don't understand what more incentive you need, as far as because it used to me, it used to be an honor to be an all-star. Like you had people coming out saying like, oh well, I think well, it should be maybe more of an incentive to like come play. And I get it; they play a lot of games. Maybe NBA should even think about shortening the season some. Maybe
Yeah, for
cutting it
sure.
down to 50, 60 games. Just and then now they're going to have a midseason tournament. So you keep saying that regular season games really don't matter. Because the midseason tournament is going to be more because they're trying to implement that. That's going to be more relevant than even the game. So I think it's going to be tough for the players come around the next collective bargaining agreement, just because you have a lot of players that don't play. Obviously, injuries you can't you know, dictate or anything like that. But I just think it's going to be tougher for the players, especially when a lot of them don't want to play. They don't show up, and then, they want all this money, but then you're not available, what, 50, 40, 30% of the time? It's going to be tough. And these,
Yeah.
these, these owners are paying millions of dollars.
Well, no, that part's gotten ridiculous. I
Yeah.
just think, gosh, when the All Star game was at its prime, it was absolutely must watch. The entire world's watching, and then the question is always who's going to get the MVP? Because in order to get the MVP, you're going to have to be the best player on the court, regardless, and obviously you're going to win. And when you used to have Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant,
Kobe.
Tracy McGrady, all these guys going out there trying to score 40, just trying to get hot, and you see them make 8 straight baskets, and it's like that's when it was at its best. When you have a situation, as you said, the players go out there, they're literally loafing half the possessions, playing 50%.
Yep.
It doesn't even resemble a pickup game, some of the possessions. So it takes a conversation that I don't think is going to happen from the commissioner where he sits him down and says, listen, this is about the NBA is a product. You got to go out there, play with pride. But if personal self is first, if All-Star Weekend festivities are first, you just aren't going to get that same drive and motivation to be the best basketball game you can be. It's like that All-Star game used to be must watch for sure.
It did. But
Yeah,
I
it
even
was
found myself
insane.
watching. I was like, this is not really entertaining. Like it used to be like, yo, I got a All-Star Weekend. I got to go check it out.
Yeah, two guys in the second half competing for that MVP.
Yeah.
Who's going to hoist it?
Right.
There's still like a big prize package you get if you get the MVP. Used to be a big honor, but yeah, now
I think you used to get a car too.
Yeah, you used to get a car.
Yeah, you used to get a car. Yeah.
On site.
I remember that. Yeah. Those were the glory days for sure. But yeah, y'all, that's our thoughts on the All-Star, game. We'll see if they kind of try to, ratify it a little bit and change some things around. I think it'd be interesting to see what direction it goes in. I think, maybe the leniency a little bit is starting to take an effect, but we'll see how the second half of the season will turn out. Obviously, it'll be exciting. It's a lot of trades. Wes will be interested in entertaining to watch, see how it comes through. And yeah, man, that's all we got for today.
Who's in the MVP hunt right now?
It's between Giannis, Jokic look like he could be a 3-time repeat MVP. Tatum's in there. Doncic is in there. I know that's the top 4 right now. Okay. Oh, and Embiid too.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing I'll be looking at.
Yeah.
Until the playoffs get here.
Yeah, which is not too far off.
Not at all.
Nope. But all right, y'all, we're going to leave it there, man. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks again, Jimmy Catch, being one of our loyal supporters, always commenting and checking us out. And thanks for the other 2 viewers that watch us the whole time. We appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you soon. We're out.
And thank you, Marlee.